You're listening to DraftKings Network.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. There's nothing sweeter than baking cookies during the holidays. With Prime, I get all my ingredients delivered right to my door, fast and free, no last-minute store trips needed. And of course, I blast my favorite holiday playlist on Amazon Music. It's the ultimate soundtrack for creating unforgettable memories. From streaming to shopping, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
Behind those cozy nights at home, thousands of employees at BP go to work every day. People producing more U.S. natural gas. People building grid-scale solar capacity. People turning landfill waste gas into pipeline-quality renewable natural gas. And people delivering all of that power where it's needed. They're part of the more than 300,000 jobs BP supports across the country. Learn more at bp.com/investing in America.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
You guys tell me if you were surprised at all by something that happened yesterday. I don't know why this caught me off guard, but it did catch me off guard. So beyond Jessica being fascinated by that Joe Burrow story yesterday and just athlete burglaries in general, because you know where they're going to be and their home or their families when they're playing might be unsecure. And so I hadn't thought about that in a long time, since talking, as I mentioned yesterday, to Anton Jameson a long time ago about just going to extreme security measures with his home and driving around his neighborhood several times just to make sure that somebody wasn't going to try and grab his jewelry in the driveway with a gun. And I just hadn't given it very much thought. So it comes up when Joe Burrow's house is, there's an attempted robbery that has an SI.
Wasn't attempted.
Has a robbery and has an SI swimsuit model at home who works for him, and people are enjoying whatever that is. But I was not expecting this yesterday from Tua, when just out of nowhere, he's like, come into my house. See how that goes for you.
I have personal security just because my house had gotten broken into, not necessarily my house, but one of my cars. And so it's a little too close for my comfort with my family being in the house. So we got personal security to take care of all of that when we're on the road. We got someone with my wife, got someone also at the house, surveying the house. So just to let that be known, they are armed. So I hope if you decide to go to my house, you think twice.
Was that David during that clip saying, I do that too?
It's that I was robbed too, and I had personal security as well, because you have the view that it will help you. And then you realize if someone wants you, they want you. And burglars really have nowhere to go but athletes, because with remote working post-COVID, people are home all the time now. So
Don't sound too excited about it.
Well, no, it's a nightmare if you're a burglar. You have to go to a place where people are out. They're not looking to find the armed guard.
I'm picturing a burglar doing it back in my day.
Back in my
Empty
day.
homes.
You can go anywhere.
9 to 5. You were good.
COVID, man, it crushed
Ring
me.
cams.
I never.
Now everyone's got an OnlyFans, and they work their own hours.
I never got it confirmed, but I was told at one point, and it made sense when you're talking about these kinds of economies, that LeBron's home in South Florida, because it was on water, had frogmen. Like, had people to make sure that you weren't coming the back way either. Like, you weren't coming by sea either. I didn't know to think that Tua would have to need security around his home to make sure that somebody, I wouldn't have considered it, honestly.
There's a ton of neighborhoods in South Florida that the cars get broken into. You're told, even when you live behind a gate, in back when I was down here, they would say, lock your cars in the driveway of a nice area in Plantation. Lock your cars.
Doesn't everyone lock their cars always?
That's the whole point, right?
I always would.
Not in action movies. The keys are always up on that visor, and I don't understand it. Like,
Idiots.
Where is this? What kind of life of security must you live?
Well, wait a second. Didn't you have your key in your car for like 3 years?
That was a mistake. I had no idea it was there. Yeah, I had a spare key that was like in the. Someone could have just like walked up to my car and just driven it away.
So you were saying, what kind of movies are this? And it's your life. It could have just happened.
But it wasn't in the visor.
The visor.
It was in the visor.
though.
Was it in the crack in between the seats that
the
you
crack.
couldn't get to?
I don't recall. It might have been in the crack.
Yeah. Once it's in the crack, you don't go back. You can't find it.
Yep.
My hands are too small. Stuff just gets gone.
Oh, you can fit a lot in that.
I can get some stuff out of the crack.
Can you guys tell me what's real, what's not real when it comes to Jimmy Butler, these reports, Bernand Lee entering the fray? The agents, it should be known, throughout sports are real and legitimate power brokers. They have relationships with the general managers. The best power structures in the NBA know to have relationships with the business of agents so that they can have good relationships with Jimmy Butler. The reports that have been leaked now, Shams is saying, and Shams is credible, that Jimmy Butler would also consider Phoenix as a landing spot, even though that would be hard for a number of different apron and financial concerns to go along with Golden State and Dallas and Houston. The part that surprised me, and I wasn't sure what the motive was, Bernand Lee was his agent, said, all right, listen. He's talking to Shams here, I gave you a pass yesterday because I was busy, but if you don't stop putting my name on your complete and utter made-up bullshit because you know you normally aren't worth my time to acknowledge. I've not seen an agent go after one of the information guys that way. I will tell you that Shams, and I don't, look, everyone needs agents as sources, but Woj had agents and management. Shams is players. Shams is also agents, but Shams is a lot younger. I haven't seen Bernand Lee didn't and wouldn't do that to Woj. So what's happening there?
I have no idea what's happening there. He comes out firing. He clearly has some long-standing issue with Shams whenever he reports on Jimmy Butler, I guess specifically. This was unexpected, and you don't really see anybody going at Shams specifically like this.
Is this a different tweet if he takes out, all right, listen. Like, if this just starts, I gave you a pass. Like, I love that first sentence. Yeah. All right,
made up bullshit.
Listen,
and then read.
Yeah, I think even people went after Woj a little bit. LeBron's camp would go after Woj through their different avenues. I don't think I've ever really seen anything like this as it pertains to Shams, who once reported before anyone that Donald Trump got COVID.
What Chris Cody is saying there is important, and I think it needs to be inspected, okay? Because Chris Cody has stopped correctly on Bernand Lee jumping into the fray with, all right, listen.
And then read.
No, well, he's got a finger up. That's right. You're going to read now, but let's pretend it's listen because I've gotten your attention. The fact that you think that has more threatening behind it than complete and utter made-up bullshit directed at a credible journalist, complete and utter made-up bullshit is the part that got my attention because Woj and Shams don't often get it wrong. Agents lie all the time. Why is he doing this unless Shams has it wrong?
So, but how does this end? Because there needs to be a victor here. If this ends with Jimmy Butler getting traded to one of the teams that Shams outlined before, then that's a whole lot of pomp and circumstance for you to end up being wrong in the end.
This is what I'm
Can you be right now and then wrong in the end?
What I'm asking you guys is this, because we have seen how valuable information is in the information business. Shams and Woj and Schefter, like there are 5 or 7 of these people who you just trust that their information is correct. You just trust that it is, even in the face of someone who's got credibility saying complete and utter made up bullshit. And so I'm asking you guys, where do you side on this? Because most often, or to every degree that I can ever remember, when Shams reports it, it's correct.
Don't they have a beef going back to like 2021 when Jimmy's agent called him like an ambulance chaser or like a clickbait chaser or something like that? Like they have, this is a long-standing feud.
That's where the all right listen comes from.
Yep.
The baggage.
Am I remembering this right?
And with an injury where he denied that there was a sprain, and then the Heat announced, by the way, there's a sprain. it turns out that the agent is highly incentivized to lie, and you're going to think that's a take as an executive. But for Shams, when his currency, and he's new at this now, and this
he's not new. Look,
in the pole position, he's brand new.
No, but what he's not new at is this dude gets it right. Like, the reason he's got the name that he does, it's not just because he gets it first, plenty, and he does. It's because he always gets it right. It's not some of the times, it's not even most of the time. It's like no real stains on getting it wrong. The value of his information is that you know that it's true.
And everything's going through Shams right now, right? Because Woj is not in the game anymore. So he's getting a ton of this information. You probably got a lot of sources that were people that were going for Woj. My question is, why don't the Heat just be like, nope, not true, shut it down?
Well, Micky Arison retweeted Bernard Lee's tweet, so maybe that's some sort of cosign. But this is the first time an agent's ever lied?
No.
Right? Is this posturing? Is this 4D chess where, no, this is bullshit, it's not part of the Suns trying to drive the price up?
I will tell you this. The Heat, as a matter of policy, just simply don't comment on this stuff. But I will tell you, this isn't even Pat Riley's viewpoint, that Micky Arison, I don't think there's much of anything in the world he has less use for than the reporting around his sport. And he doesn't value what the information guys do as truth because the Miami Heat doesn't talk to anybody. And so any perspective that's coming out on the Miami Heat is coming from somebody who's outside of the organization. This particular thing, though, the Miami Heat are in a critical time, and we have watched a history-making era of basketball where Pat Riley is trying to get one last time at the throne, and he's so very close. And it's Bam at the rim against Tatum, and now the Celtics have wildly outgrown the Miami Heat, and the last vestiges of what the Heat had challenging the Celtics are this old contract that we know is going to age poorly. You've got to get something for him before he opts out and you go into next postseason without him. But you're not likely to get something better than Jimmy Butler that then makes you better than Boston unless you involve a third team. What are you shaking your head about?
If he opts out, then it didn't age poorly. It means that he's worth even more than what.
No, but are we also to ignore what Jimmy did in the offseason? Hey, those purple and gold uniforms look good. Like we're just going to pretend everything is just kumbaya over here in Miami. This is part of the Jimmy Butler playbook, and this is how he kind of operates, especially when there's seeds or beyond seeds of him outgrowing a place, which has happened several times.
But I pair this with the reports out of Golden State where a hungry champion with a star on his last legs insists on surrounding him with a player who would look like Jimmy Butler if you're trying to go all win now on let's capitalize what we just came back from on the Olympics. And now the reports are out there, well, Golden State would like LeBron and Jimmy Butler to join Steph because Steph deserves to have the surroundings, what he's built in Golden State. He deserves for Golden State to go all in with all of their passion. And instead of Steve Kerr getting kicked out of games, management is doing everything they can to get two players to like Steph Curry to get him to age with grace.
A lot of people want a lot of things, though. They don't always get what they want, especially when the Miami Heat want a superstar to demand a trade. Look, I want Aaron Taylor Johnson's abs. I'm craving them.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh, is he from that the Craven movie?
Yeah. The new Bond.
I found out.
Oof, that thing sucks.
Is he going to be the new Bond?
He's going to be. The rumor is he's the new Bond, and you may have seen The Savages with Blake Lively. That's him, too.
I haven't.
And you know what else he's in? Nosfeartu.
Oh, that's what I know him from. Did you see it? Was it good?
I'm going to see it Christmas Day night.
Ooh.
I want to talk about Nosfeartu in a second. But getting back to what are you doing?
I'm coming out of a casket. Well, sarcophagus. Don't call it a casket because in Nosferatu we don't.
What are the Satan names?
Undertaker.
Beelzebub, Nosferatu. Like
No, Nosferatu is not a Satan name. It's the name for the undead, the vampire.
But it's a form of great evil. Okay, I thought it was Satan related. I'm sorry. Nosferatu is just the greatest of the vampires. I've seen him wandering around the smoke on a boat. On the trailer for Nosferatu.
You've seen Nosferatu? Because no one's really seen him. All you get is just the
David,
eyes.
enough.
Oh. This is, who directed this film? Robert Eggers, the guy that did The Lighthouse. This is his fourth feature film. He did The Witch, he did The Northman, The Witch, and he did The Lighthouse, which is a Christmas movie. So this is the most marketing he's ever had behind it. I'm literally wearing a collaboration for a cologne. I'm so hyped for this. Christmas Day night. The cinematography is going to be incredible.
And said or posted or something all of this perfume or cologne, wondering
haunting.
Like it's really something. He's on.
Do you want to smell it? It smells like Count Orlok's cave.
I can't smell it.
It smells okay.
Thank you.
It does smell like a cave.
It does smell like a cave, but a nice cave.
I could see what they were going for.
An inviting cave. So basically, this is just a remake of the 1922 silent film, the seminal German silent film that was basically Bram Stoker's Dracula, but without using the names. So it's a darker twist on this because the Count is actually undead. Even though it's Dracula, it doesn't go by Dracula, it goes by Orlok. And it's supposed to be incredible. And this is a seminal movie event. It comes out Christmas Day night, and all the little goth kids and all the little emos and all the little vampy kids are going to be super excited because Eggers always delivers. All 4 of his films, over 90% on the Rotten Tomatoes meter, including this one.
So are you Team Edward or Team Jacob?
Which one's Pattinson?
Edward. Oh, my Lord. That's the seminal movie, not this Nostradamus thing.
What?
What?
Nosferatu.
You haven't seen... Look,
Yes.
Neither of you guys know what it is, so you're not allowed to talk about it.
You haven't seen the 1922 silent film? You're a cinephile. That should be, like, required viewing for anybody.
Didn't Werner Herzog make a Nosferatu in the 70s?
I did, and he did, and I watched it last week, and this one... They don't call him Nosferatu or Count Orlok. He's just Dracula, but he looks Nosferatu like 1922. Now, everybody's got their original names. Lots of rats in that film.
I thought I saw a trailer for Nosferatu that was him floating over a ship in the smoke. That's the trailer of what it is that you're talking about.
Was that the last voyage of the Demeter? That one stunk.
Regardless.
In all the Dracula lore.
2 things I wanted to talk about off of what you were saying. First of all, Lamar Jackson was trending yesterday, correct? Because he says he prefers a female scent, getting back to what you guys were talking about on the cologne. But I also wanted to talk about what David said about the next Bond and what's going to happen with the next Bond. Daniel Craig was asked what he thought should happen with the next Bond, and his response surprised me. His response was just, I don't care. There have only been a handful of Bonds. It's a treasured position. It is one of the great movie franchises of all time.
He doesn't own any part of it.
Can we spoil? It's been years now. We can spoil what happened in the last Bond, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, spoiler alert for people that haven't watched the last Bond. James Bond is dead.
What?
He died.
007, that is.
Yeah.
He comes back.
No, 007 is still around. See, that's where it gets all sorted. You think 007?
No, that's a title. That's a title.
Yeah, no, James Bond, James Bond, dead. I don't really know how they come back from this one.
By hiring Aaron Taylor Johnson and his abs.
Dude, those abs are sick.
I remember in the Dracula book, he's on a ship, Dan. Doesn't he take a ship to England?
Yeah,
I remember
the Demeter, or is it Demeter? Either way. Yeah, there was a whole bad movie made on just that ship voyage, which is super frustrating because I'm like, guys, look for it during the day. All these bad things are happening at night. It's right, it's a ship. You're not covering a lot of ground. Just look for it during the day. We all know where all this stuff is coming from. There's dirt everywhere coming from these caskets. Guys are missing. Just look for it during the day.
The holiday home stretch is here, and when you're crossing names off your holiday list, you can't forget about your pets. Dopey and Izzy would never forgive me if I did. And Chewy is the only name I need to know for everything to keep my pet happy and healthy. That's why Chewy's perfect. You just go home, relax, kick your feet up, and shop online for your pet. And with the holiday shopping season winding down, Chewy is giving us a gift. Huge savings up to 40 or even 60% off. Flash deals, BOGOs, and so much more. Not just for dogs and cats, birds, fish, reptiles, and more. Chewy's auto ship feature is the real stress-reducing hero. I've set up recurring shipments for all the essentials we use, and they show up to my door just 1 to 2 days later. I'm never running out and can change or cancel my auto ship order at any time. The other day I was going to feed my doggies, Dopey and Izzy, as I mentioned earlier, you know them. And I said, you know what, I'm running low. Let me check something. Boom! Right there. I had an auto ship notification in my email saying the dog food was coming tomorrow. Phew! It's not just dog food. You can get treats like greenies that keep my dog's smiles pearly white. Don't forget gifts for your pets this holiday season. Take advantage of amazing deals and shop my personal favorites at chewy.com/Dan. That's chewy.com/Dan. Chewy.com/Dan.
Stugotz here. Right now, my friends over at Simply Safe are extending their massive Black Friday deal for our Le Batard Show listeners. Simply Safe is the home security I trust to keep my home and family safe. I've been telling you that for years. This is your last chance to protect your home at Simply Safe's lowest prices of the year. Simply Safe is a new way to protect your home that stops intruders before they break into your home. Old school systems only take action once someone is already inside your home. That's too late. Simply Safe's Active Guard outdoor protection changes the game by preventing crime before it even happens. Simply Safe is extending its massive Black Friday deal for our listeners. This week only, you can take 50% off any new system with a select professional monitoring plan. This is your last chance to claim their best offer of the year. Head to simplysafe.com/DLB to claim your discount and make sure your home is safe this season. Don't wait. This offer won't last long. Keep your home, your family, and your peace of mind protected with Simply Safe. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Howdy, it's Mike. Want to talk to you about Game Time. For my money, the very best secondary ticket marketplace app there is on the market. And trust me, I've been around the block a few times when it comes to this, and I always come back to Game Time. Plenty of reasons why. Let me detail them for you. All-in pricing, panoramic seat views, the lowest price guarantee. Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference if you dare find a better deal out there. And their unparalleled Game Time ticket coverage has your purchase covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. And also, they have this brand new wonderful feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. With Game Time Picks, it helps to make curation easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DAN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DAN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.
Dan Le Batard.
To us residents.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty
It's in there. It's better.
Think I haven't been practicing?
Stugotz.
I didn't realize we had a substitute complicated legacy.
Brought to you by Headquarter Toyota. 441 Powerline Road. Second down and 9.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
This is a good segue because it's been 2 weeks in the making. I started a show and then I wandered away from it. I was talking to Tony at the beginning of the show about the top 5 movies that he'll stop on every single time he's flipping through the channels. Look, they're putting this beefcake up here now.
Take it out of preview and into the
here's
program.
Here's the new Bond.
You know, he did the reverse Belichick. His partner's a
He
much
coaches in
older
the
woman.
NFL now?
This dude is like having his moment right now.
The reverse Belichick. So this is the new Bond. The new Bond has abs. How many Bonds have there been? 4, 5 ever?
It's reckless journalism. He hasn't been named. I said he's rumored. So
Okay.
that's not reckless. I don't think I get the button.
No,
for that.
I think much more than 4 or 5. You got Connery, Moore, Daltrey,
Dalton.
Dalton.
Not Roger Daltrey.
He
Timothy
wasn't.
Dalton.
Daltrey wasn't one of. Is
That's
he in the Who? Who?
So it's been 6. It's been 6 Bonds. There haven't been very many of them, and so.
But why would he care? He's not getting paid. He doesn't own any part of the IP.
There's 7 total. 007.
Oh, look at that!
Is that why they killed him? They're like, we can't have an 8th.
So you're
there
not
was
surprised?
one more 007 because for a moment like 007 is assumed by another person in the last one.
Right.
So
Like
there have been more
Doctor Who.
007s than James Bonds.
Right.
How about this? I have noticed while watching everybody get in on this conversation, and if I scan the room, even Roy has wanted to get in, but there's been somebody who's been hiding in the shadows, but in plain sight. It would appear, based on the look in Chris Cody's eyes, that he has not seen a single Bond movie.
I've played the video game. That's about my
GoldenEye?
extent.
He's never seen Indiana
I've
Jones.
played
He's never
GoldenEye.
seen James Bond. What's wrong with this guy, dude?
Never seen a single James.
your
I've
mouth.
seen Austin Powers. That's the closest I've gotten to James Bond.
How do you
Jesus
get the
Christ.
jokes without?
I played GoldenEye.
It's a great question, Mike.
You should watch James Bond to really unlock this movie because I know you like it.
I still thought it was funny.
Is there still isn't it a Spike TV? Wasn't that the channel that used to replay all the Bonds around Christmas time? This is the best time of year to watch all the Bond movies. There's usually TV marathons.
Which one do I start on?
Well, they're streaming now, of course. You can get them anytime you
want.
want.
To know my
Yeah, but
height?
there's nothing like turning on cable over the Christmas vacation
Thank
and
you,
just
Jess.
seeing
The commercials?
7 Bonds in a row.
That's right.
You know my concept for where to take the James Bond franchise since he's now dead? You go back in time. You take the source material and you do period pieces from when those books were written. Noir.
Let me get Broccoli on the phone and we'll get right on that.
The story of little Jimmy Bond.
How many brands, movie brands, Fast and the Furious, whatever it is you want to choose, would you stack up and say bigger than the Bond franchise? Just ever?
Mission Impossible.
Rocky, all of them?
Godfather.
Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars.
Who's been bigger at the box office? Because James Bond has more films. But let's look it up. The James Bond versus the MI franchise.
You have to adjust, though, for time. You have to adjust.
Wait a minute. I don't think we can trust David on this. David just put up 2 Godfathers, not even the third one. He just put up 2 Godfathers
Said
against
franchises.
No, but against all the Bonds movies?
There's no way the box office
against all the Bonds movies?
I was just channeling Adnan.
I understand Godfather is great, but I'm asking for franchise for all time. You can pick one and you've got to win this game. You've got to be the biggest franchise in movie history. If I go all in with the Bond franchise, I'm feeling decent about my hand. I don't know. I'm asking the rest of you to give me some stuff you'd put against it, but I'm guessing that if you've only had 7 Bonds ever and you've been able to keep a franchise alive since the 60s, Mission Impossible took a long break between the 60s. All the Bonds have been relatively relevant through, 6-7 decades now?
I think I would take Jurassic Park over it. I would take potentially Star Wars for sure. Lord of the Rings has more meat on that bone. Harry Potter, I'd probably take it over James Bond.
I watched Dune the other night. Not there yet, but they're starting to spin that baby off.
I wasn't a big Dune guy, cinematically.
Do you like Timothée?
I do.
Chalamet?
I wanted to like Dune, but I just didn't.
Didn't everybody love him on College Game Day?
I feel like he smelled good there.
Oh, yeah. No, I think he might actually know ball. Or he really prepared for this role. He was probably the best guest picker in ages. He was phenomenal.
I have a hot take about Timothée Chalamet on Game Day. I'm a big Timothée Chalamet fan. Love his work with all of Greta Gerwig's films.
There's a butt coming.
He's a 28-year-old man, and people were losing their minds that he knew anything about football. I'm sorry. Since when do we just assume theater kids don't watch any sports? He lives in New York. He probably gambles on the weekends on the MAC championship game like we all do.
He invoked Maction, which right then
and he was right, by the way.
Made it a
Ohio
winner.
spanked Miami. Oof.
I love that people would underestimate the theater kid and give him bonus points because he knows a little about college football.
Yeah, but was he running lines?
Yes.
That's what people are accusing him, because his stats were so detailed, and it wasn't like just things you'd come off the cuff. It was
he
like
was prepped.
Yeah, it was
Who's kidding? Did you watch it? It looked like he was performing. It was performative almost.
It can be performative. I'm more interested in what she's saying, which is the just general underestimation of a 28-year-old pretty boy because you think he can't know anything about college football.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's usually not something that's afforded to a 28-year-old man, especially appearing on one of cable TV's most popular sports shows.
You would think, right? Yeah. Although I guess people were assuming that he would just be all Broadway and couldn't know anything about Ohio beating Miami of Ohio.
Thank you, Reese. I would like to make a pick.
Yes, real. You would make a great flamboyant. Let's do that. Let's.
I think I'm gonna take the under.
We had fun with
it's
it.
Like the birdcage.
I think the window has closed.
We should make a football musical.
We should do that. Who's done that?
I want Chris Cody to do flamboyant Broadway performer, but let's
not going to be better than it was.
Let's get to Tony's.
No, by the way, you mentioned Dune real quick, and we'll get to Tony. Did you see the news, the casting news regarding Austin Butler?
Oh, I did. Tell us.
I am not happy about this. Dan, I know you like American Psycho. It's one of my favorite films, top 5 film for me, one of the greatest dark comedies ever made. Don't touch it. But they're remaking it, or a new spin on an old classic. Austin Butler has been cast as Patrick Bateman, according to reports. I don't like this one bit.
As Elvis.
That part's not true.
But they told him to do the Elvis accent the whole time.
He's been doing the Elvis accent all the time since he did the movie.
He was forced to stop, actually.
Dan, did you like Elvis?
I happen to know.
The last act.
Christian Bale, that was my introduction to him. Was American Psycho. I don't know who else is. That is where I discovered that somebody was a good actor. I do not need that remade, but I am trying to get over to where Tony was for several weeks now. I've been trying to get over to that corner of the room and the movies that he will stop on every time, and now we're finally here.
But Tony, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you think Austin Butler straddles the line between genius and hack the way that Walken and Nicolas Cage did? Because I kind of think he's like bordering on bad actor.
But so bad that he's good?
That he's becoming a bit of a caricature of himself, and you don't do that in your 20s. Like he's going to, I guarantee you, here's my bold prediction for Austin Butler. 10 years from now, he's going to make an appearance that will revitalize his career in a comedy where he pokes fun at himself because he's just become too outrageous a human. He's not a real person.
And who is the greatest example of that in acting? Is it Busey? Is it Gary Busey?
Busey, Cage, Walken. These are the guys. Good job invoking Busey. He belongs in that class.
He doesn't belong in the class with Nick Cage.
In
Nick
terms
Cage
of
is
cartoon
a
characters?
actor. He's not. Nick Cage is a brilliant actor who actually, one of the best movies he's made recently was him playing himself. And I'm completely blanking because I'm just
He's straddling the line. He's straddling the line. It's a very thin line. Look, it's gone. We've seen Nick Cage straddle the line and go well over the line and become a punchline. This guy's crazy. It's like Bad Lieutenant.
It's because he needed the money.
Oh, a lie. It's a long list, Dano.
He's made a lot of movies. Nick Cage has made a lot of movies while trying to pay the IRS. I think, and he buys a bunch of dinosaur bones and everything else.
All I'm saying is that if any other 28-year-old man were on College Game Day and was doing college football picks, you guys wouldn't be like, "Oh my God, he knows football."
It was weird. It was the reaction.
Flamboyant.
They wanted him. They wanted him to not know anything, and the bar was very low on Chalamet. Oh, a lie.
Any Mission Impossible movie. That's just starting to get the beak wet. You know what I mean? Like I'm scrolling through and it's like, oh, all of a sudden it's Fallout? Ooh, I'm in. I'm watching the entire thing.
The movie that David was thinking of is The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent on Nicolas Cage is what he was looking for there. I'm sorry, keep going.
Also a synonym for my top 5. Another set of movies that I will always stop on. Any James Bond film. I will be locked in on.
So look, I stumbled into it by mistake.
Surprising. I think that's a late ad.
It was unprepared.
That's a late ad by Tony.
No, that's not. These are all part of it. All right.
Getting entire franchises.
Well, no, because obviously there's many movies. You're talking about 7 movies.
No, but what he's saying, he's going off of what Jessica said, which is during the holidays, I don't necessarily associate this with the holidays, but if there is a slow time over these next 10 days at the end of the month, and there's a Bond marathon somewhere,
you're locked in.
I'm going to get hypnotized for about 20 minutes on whatever's going on there. Like I'm going to get stopped, and I will not move on from that. I will stop in on Bond.
Nobody channel surfs anymore.
I'm just telling you, I will. I'll do that around Bond, around Mission Impossible.
Thank you. All right, next one. Still in the only lie, by the way. Coming to America. The original one, obviously. The second one we don't really acknowledge. Yeah. The sequel we don't acknowledge. But
so, Mike, on American Psycho, you don't want it made? Like, you don't think, because he just mentioned Coming to America, we didn't need the remake. The first one was fine.
No, and I don't like
the sequel.
The first one was great.
I just don't like the Austin Butler casting either as Patrick Bateman. He can play like one of the other ancillary roles. Like, give him Thoreau's role. No, don't give him Patrick Bateman.
It's been perfected. I don't need to see someone else in the role.
That dude from Euphoria and Saltburn, that should be Patrick Bateman.
Barry Keoghan?
No, Lordy.
No, a Lordy, duh.
Oh, the tall,
He's got a beard now. It looks weird with the beard.
Oh, he
Samson,
doesn't.
what are you
Haven't
doing
seen it yet,
there?
though.
What are you doing that you're trying to summon a name to play the game that you know somebody and then you get it wrong? Like, what do you? Why?
I've always got his name wrong. Like Saris.
But why? What are you offering to the conversation by limping in by
I'm trying to
floating
get
up
back to
with
Tony.
Barry something or another? And what are you contributing to the conversation?
Tony.
The one who was dating Sabrina Carpenter. We know who. We were all on the same page as
Ended
David.
badly.
Yes, you could say that again.
Tony?
Say it again.
Scarface. Anytime, no matter what time. It's a 3-hour movie, so anytime that it comes on, I'll catch it right when the blimp's going over. The world is yours, and I'm like, you know what? The world is mine. Thank you.
When is that going to stop being a thing, Tony? Because that's the same for me. Your list, I have never heard a list that has had this kind of kindred
Holding
spirit.
up a mirror to you, Dan.
I will stop. It does not matter when Scarface is in it just doesn't matter. I'm going to get to where Frank Lopez is dead and he's offering Ernie a job.
Every dog has his day, Frank. OLI number whatever. Hateful Eight.
Really?
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Hateful Eight.
The worst of the Tarantino movies.
I don't say the worst. There's other bad ones. But
I don't think
bottom of my Tarantino list.
He does not make any bad ones. I think that's the worst of. He has not made a bad one.
Goggins kills it in that one, though.
He was great in that.
He's incredible.
And all the characters are great, but that movie. Look, I don't even think it's an insult to call something the worst of the Tarantino movies.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is not better than Hateful Eight. We'll just start there.
It is a million times better.
I don't know
a million
about that.
times better, and
I don't know
Austin
about
Butler actually kills that assignment.
Wow, Jessica really gave you a side eye.
That's fine.
Hateful Eight's a terrible movie.
She doesn't like Hateful Eight.
If
guess
Hateful
what?
Eight was made by somebody else, I don't think we'd give it this much of a runway to be like, well, it's just a little.
We would have not even watched it.
You
Guess
would have been
what?
like, this might just be bad.
Not your list.
Yep.
Whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
No, he's right. I'm going to go see Taylor.
On Tony's list is something that both Mike and Jessica are reducing to
That's fine.
terrible.
And
stuff for
David.
Have you seen all the
Tarantino?
Tarantinos?
I agreed.
I've basically seen every single one of them.
Which
yeah.
one haven't you seen? Basically is different than seeing them all.
I don't remember. I remember starting Jackie Brown. I didn't finish it.
Oh, Jackie Brown's
So good.
It is good.
I didn't
See,
finish it.
It's
yeah.
one of his best.
A little
Yes.
slow in the beginning, so I
Yes.
kind of tuned out.
See,
Went
this-
to Mission
beginning.
Impossible.
You know, you guys see what's happening here, right?
It's getting bad.
Tarantino made an action movie with a lot of killing. It's a bit of a western. Jackie Brown. Let's move it along, Jackie
slow.
Brown. I don't
Exploitation.
like. I don't like the.
A little slow.
No, he saw Django, the one with
I saw
action.
Django.
Yeah,
Django
he
was
saw
incredible.
the Western with action.
Okay, there's a theme
Kill
here.
Bills. I mean, come on.
The tapestry. Tony needs a little action in his movie.
Come on, yeah. Now you know why my wife and I don't watch movies together. Next one of the OLI. This is the last of the OLIs.
We're still in OLIs.
Yeah, of course. No, don't. Indiana Jones. Any of them, except for the ones that like the Crystal Skull, the Compass one. Those all suck. The original,
any.
the original Indiana Jones. Okay, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, and Last Crusade. Any of those, I will go out and watch, and if they're on, I will stop every single time.
Tony, this is what we are as kindred spirits. If I was playing right now a game show with my wife that was about knowing each other, like we would both know that the thing that causes her the most shame about me is that she will walk into a room where I'm watching Indiana Jones and she will hit me with an again.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
The Newlywed Game is a game. There is a game like
Is
that.
it still there? Are we still playing the Newlywed Game? Is that still a televised game show? Is that still something that's on?
If you channel surf, you
On
can find
cruise
it.
ships, they still play it.
Do they?
He catches the date in the air.
Roy,
bad
did you play it
dates.
on your cruise ship?
No.
Did you go watch it?
No.
Everyone goes to watch it. Come on.
I
They get
did
three
not.
couples up there. They get a young couple, they get a middle
No.
couple, and then a really old couple. They're always so adorable.
Did not happen.
Roy, did you interact with others on this cruise ship?
Hell no.
So there was no community, anything. You didn't go to a show. You didn't talk to a stranger. You just stared at the sea for 4 days.
That's right.
Come on. I know you went to the sailing away party.
No.
Come on. Up on deck 10.
Bingo?
Did not.
White party?
No, they went to bingo. I joined them late.
You showed up late to bingo?
I didn't know where they were.
Just at the bow of the ship, like.
So Roy won a staring contest with the sea.
Are you the old man from The Old Man in the Sea?
Yes.
You went to the lifeboat drill. You have to go to that.
Nobody went to the lifeboat
Wait,
drill.
it's a mustard
Isn't
drill.
that
What
mustard?
mustard station were you?
Mandatory.
Play it, mustard.
14.
C14.
Mustard.
This is one of the few windows.
There you go. All right, continuing the OLI. We got a couple left.
You said that was the last
No,
one.
no, I
Have
was
you
wrong.
considered a
I was
top
wrong.
10?
Oh, Christ, man.
Ocean's 11. Nobody's smooth than Danny Ocean, Dan. You know that. That's another movie you'll stop on every time. True or not true?
I do like the Ocean's movies. In fact, Andy Garcia is going to be on South Beach Sessions here in a couple of weeks, and I couldn't stop staring into his eyes just
Wow.
because of whatever it is that Ocean's does.
Big get.
There are certain movies, Indiana Jones is obviously this, but that will just transport you back to a time where you could just turn your brain off and be a child. And it's everything that's on Tony's list. every single thing is turning his brain off.
Number 5. Thank you. This is a 2-for-1, actually. So it's 5, but it's 2 for 1.
Everyone is
Just make a
multiple
top
movies.
10.
No, I
man.
can't. There's too many. Godfather 1 and 2.
Bigger than Bond.
Lighthouse better be on this.
I've never seen it. Number 4, Goodfellas.
It's not on anyone's list, Mike.
It's
Nobody's.
it's on
Number
my top 10 holiday
3,
films.
Training Day. Number 2, Inglourious Bastards. Probably the best movie Tarantino's ever made.
Agreed.
Thank
we
you.
agree there. You had one bad take on Tarantino,
That's
but
fine.
you rallied.
That's fine.
Goodfellas is the I amuse you. I'm a clown. Is that one?
Are you asking?
Yeah, I just get them mixed up. I get Casino, Goodfellas. They're all like the same.
Pesci does kind of do the same thing in both of them.
I amuse you. I'm a
Yes,
clown.
that's-
Funny
Yes,
like a
that's
clown.
That's the one, yeah.
That's it.
Is put it on the poll, Juju. Is Inglourious Bastards the best of the Tarantino movies?
Easily.
And also put on the poll at Le Batard Show, is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood better than The Hateful Eight? And also put on the poll at Le Batard Show, is The Hateful Eight terrible?
Number 1, Dan, this is a movie that started this entire list because it's the movie that no matter what time of the movie it's on, I will watch it and I will watch it to its entirety. Yes, he was a rat, but it doesn't matter. Number 1, Denzel in American Gangster.
Wow, I thought
you were doing Departed.
No.
I was like, yeah,
He's a rat.
No.
He's a rat.
He was a cop. He wasn't a cop. He was a rat. That's okay, though, because you know what? This is $25,000 alpaca. You don't wipe it. You blot that shit.
Yeah, I like his list. It was an excellent list. I think David's would be so much different than yours. If
Mine would have Ed TV on it.
how
I don't
many?
even know what that is.
Ed TV.
If we had to do a list for you, you could do one probably off the top of your head that would be even longer than his. Would you not?
I could get it down to 5.
can be
quickly,
shorter.
easily.
All right. Well, let's do it quickly then.
Number 5, A Few Good Men. Every single time.
You can't handle the truth.
That's the movie.
Ayu.
Number 4, Fletch.
Fletch is a great movie.
gonna
That should have been
laugh my ass
OLI.
off.
Fletch is great. 6'4", 6'8" with the afro.
That's very
I can't believe that you and
like that one
Tony
out of the
are
holster,
connecting
Dano?
on Fletch. Tony has never known one of the old movies that you're talking about. When you go 1970s on Tony, you always lose Tony. How does he know Fletch?
Because that's from the 80s, and you get the afro joke.
Number 3.
Number 3, Ed TV. That's Matthew McConaughey, Jenna Elfman. It was the beginning of the Kardashians. Who doesn't want to watch that?
Number 2. Nobody here, evidently. Number 2.
No.
Everyone here.
I've
is
never seen that. I
staring
I
don't
haven't
at
gotten
you.
around to it.
Everyone
seen
here-
it.
I've heard of it.
I'd rather watch a Truman Show.
Did you not see the general indifference and the blank stares looking back at you? Nobody knew what you were
This concept
talking
was
about.
done better with Jim Carrey, so I just kept moving on.
Number 2, Castaway. I love The Lonely and Castaway. I will watch that. I'll actually make sure I find it.
I love The Lonely.
He was on Survivor, of course. This is very of his genre.
Number 1.
And the number 1 movie that I will always watch, Stranger Than Fiction.
A terrible list.
Weird list.
Mine was way better, right?
Both
It
sucked.
was.
Howdy, it's Mike. Want to talk to you about Game Time. For my money, the very best secondary ticket marketplace app there is on the market. And trust me, I've been around the block a few times when it comes to this, and I always come back to Game Time. Plenty of reasons why. Let me detail them for you. All-in pricing, panoramic seat views, the lowest price guarantee. Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference if you dare find a better deal out there. And their unparalleled Game Time ticket coverage has your purchase covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. And also, they have this brand new wonderful feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. With Game Time Picks, it helps to make curation easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DAN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DAN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. Everybody needs some variety in life. That's what I love about Chumba Casino. They know how to keep things fresh and exciting. All their games are free to play, like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire. You can claim free daily login bonuses, too. And they release new games every week. So spice things up with ChumbaCasino.com now for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.